I'm trying to figure out what oil I should put in my diffuser for this video. Let's look up oils for happiness. Orange. Well, that just happens to be my favorite oil. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Nay. If you're new, thank you guys so much for clicking on this video. So today's video is going to be all about long-term happiness. Whenever you ask anyone what is their goal in life, the goal tends to be driven towards happiness. They don't care what life brings them, they just want to be happy. Don't we all just really want that? I mean, we all really just want to be happy. So I think we live in a world where we kind of get our happiness from instant gratification. We strive for things that we want to obtain right here, right now, quick and fast, and we think that will drive us to happiness. But it ends up being we get whatever we want, and then we want more and more and more, and by the end we don't have that happiness. We got the instant gratification, but the happiness kind of dies down once we obtain those external things that are out in the world that are materialistic, rather than diving deeper and finding out what truly brings us happiness. So I ran across a quote from Dalai Lama: happiness is not something ready-made, it comes from your own actions. So we create our happiness, not anything that we get or receive. I dove a little bit deeper and found 5 things that drive long-term happiness. Some research, some studies, and these are the 5 secrets, if you will, that I kind of found came up the most through my research. So the first one is relationships. And relationships could mean anything from your love life, your friendship, your family. It's the connection between the people that we have. There was actually a really long study. It was a Harvard study. They studied 268 people, as well as some of their offspring. John F. Kennedy was one of them. They studied both the physical and mental state of these people to kind of see what drives the long-term happiness. So this was done in 1938, which was during the Great Depression, and it is one of the longest studies of happiness there is out there right now. These people came from all different walks of life. Some of them eventually became doctors and lawyers, whereas some of them became alcoholics and schizophrenics. They basically found out that the people with the happiest relationships were the happiest and overall healthiest of the group, which basically correlates happiness to relationships. And it's not just the quantity of relationships that you have, it's more so the value and the quality of the relationships that drive the long-term happiness. They also found that loneliness actually kills people. There's actually a complete TED Talk about this. I can leave it linked down below, and the research, the actual study down below if you guys want to check it out. It's super interesting. They actually related it to alcohol and smoking, which is mind-blowing. So that is the first secret. You want to make sure that you are building these strong bond relationships with other people. We can kind of get into our daily routine, and it can kind of be hard to find, you know, good relationships or start building new relationships, especially when we get older and we kind of all are in our own little bubble in our world and that we are creating. But I think it's extremely important to put aside time to nourish your relationships, whether that's going out for a glass of wine or taking a walk with somebody, or even just making a simple phone call. And something you could do if you are struggling to even connect with different people is maybe join a group. You can join like a running group, you can join a singles group. There's actually a website called meetup.com or something like that where you can actually meet different people. You can take a class. Instead of doing workouts at home, go take a workout class, or go to a college and take a college course class. And you can also reach out to your old friends and family. There's many different ways that you can meet different people, and you have to make sure that you are nourishing your relationships just like you nourish yourself. So the second secret to happiness is gratitude. I've mentioned this multiple times throughout my videos. Gratitude is the right attitude. I think gratitude has completely changed my whole mind. Whenever I'm feeling down, I instantly can use gratitude to my advantage. It's kind of like a muscle. When you start making it a habit and, you know, saying 3 things every day that you're grateful for, and then you can bump it up to 5, and you can do it throughout your whole day. Once you build up that gratitude muscle, it just becomes a daily habit. This is like the one secret I really think is so important when it comes to just living in general. It has completely changed my mindset. I am a happier person overall. It helps you become mentally happier as well as physically happier. It also enhances your empathy, and you show appreciation and show that gratitude. Your vibrational energy, when you show gratitude, you just kind of emit that to other people, and in turn you can form better bonds with people, which kind of correlates to the first secret. If you are ever in doubt and you're feeling down, or you're just feeling upset, really just focus on the things that you're grateful for, it can instantly shift your whole mindset. Make that a daily habit. You will just see your life flourish. You're just extremely happy all the time. I used to be like, I don't want to say depressed, but I used to go through like spells of extreme sadness and anxiety, and showing gratitude really just like, I don't get upset that often anymore. And if I do, I can get out of it real quick. So the third secret is to find happiness in every situation. This is actually the intention I set for myself at the beginning of this year. I said I want to find happiness in every situation. Good, the bad, whatever it is, I want to find what I can take from this that can create happiness. You can shift your perspective of different things. If I have a certain situation happen to me and someone else has that exact same experience, we can perceive it as two different situations. One of us could focus on the negative, whereas one of us can focus on the things that we got out of it. And that whole experience can be shifted in an instant based on what you're thinking, your judgment towards it, your perspective of it, and your reaction towards it. Take life for what it is and realize that life is gonna happen no matter what. You're gonna go through the situation, you're going through it right now. So you can either choose to complain and be negative and down and just create this hardship that you have to overcome, or you can understand that it's happening, you can't really change anything, it's out of your control, and you can make it into a good and positive experience, because you're going to go through it anyway, and you might as well create a great experience for yourself, because no one wants a bad experience. So when those things do happen to you that are outside of your control and you shift your perspective, you're no longer stressing about things that you cannot physically change, and in turn you'll be happier because you can take on whatever life throws at you. The things that you go through and the emotions that you're feeling, take those as a lesson, and you take those as part of life's journey, which reduces anxiety and stress, which causes unhappiness. When you think about the future, you get anxious. When you think about the past, you get depressed. When you're in the present moment and you find the gratitude for the now and you shift and focus on the happiness and what you can get out of the present moment, that's when stress and anxiety kind of go on the back burner, and in turn it creates long-term happiness, because you're in the moment, but you're not just in the moment, you're appreciating the moment for what it is. So the fourth secret to long-term happiness is detaching and letting go. Attachment stems from insecurity and fear. So when we attach to something, whether that's the past, whether that's something that we really, really want, something that's bothering us, it comes from fear and anxiety of that situation, and you hold on to it, and it's like a cloud that's over your head that's going with you everywhere you go, and it's just gonna bring you down. When we're attached to something, we tend to repeat it over and over and over in our heads, and the more we repeat that, the more stronger the emotions are connected with it, and the more of your focus and energy goes on it, and you're not going to be able to live a happy life because it's just stuck on you. This can really be detrimental to your health, both physically and mentally, because you're attaching this emotional trauma to this situation that you have no control over and is not happening right now. People who learn to detach and let go realize that their emotions are a part of life. They have emotions, but they are not their emotions. Instead of attaching to your thoughts or your emotions and thinking that you are them and you define yourself by them, you learn to look at it as more as a flow. You have emotions, you're gonna go through times, you're gonna have different experiences in life, but they're all temporary. So to learn to let the cloud flow and release it and let go of anything that's coming from that situation, that moves the cloud over and lets the sun shine on you, and you create this like really just overwhelming joy. If it is something that you are harping on your past, a quote that I read in Oprah's book, worrying and stressing about the past is like praying and wanting to change the past, and you cannot do that. So there is absolutely no point in worrying and stressing or attaching to the past and blaming your past on certain situations that are happening right now, because you can't change that. The fact that you're harping on it and worrying about it is just a waste of time, and you're totally not even being present. Your life is just flowing past you. So the fifth and final secret of long-term happiness is to limit negative mainstream media. I've mentioned this before in other videos. The media plays a huge role on our day-to-day lives. We are constantly being thrown media, whether it's through advertisement, TV, social media, whatever it is, we are constantly being thrown emotions. When we watch these things and we relate to them, we start thinking thoughts about them, and then in turn create an emotional reaction to it, and most of the time media is made to draw your attention and create a reaction so that you focus on it or buy the product or whatever it is. And when you create that emotional attachment to it and those thoughts, you get really kind of connected to these media outlets, and it can totally reflect your attitude and your life, whether that's through games, playing violent games, or watching violent TV shows like fighting, going on social media and reading about all the celebrity drama and all the negative news. When you literally turn on the news, it's all negative. And the reason behind that, I think, is because it gets a reaction out of people. People are interested in it because it creates this whoa feeling in you, but then you kind of relate that to yourself and it's not really happening in your situation. I think it's important to limit media. I think it's important to get news, obviously, if there's a hurricane or something like that, and to get involved in things that really make a difference in the world. But to sit there and harp on something like politics or news or, you know, articles that are just making you upset, there's no point in doing that. So I think limiting your mainstream media and learning to not let it affect you and get emotionally involved in it is extremely important to long-term happiness. Whatever you expose yourself to, you create. The more you sit and harp on these media outlets, the more it's going to be engraved in your brain. You're going to repeat it over and over, create emotional attachments to it, and in turn, you're going to start drawing that attention and vibration to yourself. And sometimes it can go through, you know, the way you act and the behavior that you have. I've seen people play, you know, video games before, and they just, their whole mood shifts. I think it's important to focus on yourself, focus on your benefit, and watching these things isn't really doing anything for yourself and you're not doing anything for it. So what's the point of doing it? So expose yourself to more positive sources. For example, you're watching this video right now. Obviously, this is a good positive vibrational video. If you are watching shows, maybe skip through the commercials or limit them. Don't go to bed with the TV on. Little things like that can definitely make a huge difference in your long-term happiness. So I'm gonna end this video with a quick study that I found really interesting. There was a UCLA neuroscientist who studied the correlation between happiness and your brain, and he found that you end up getting emotions that stem from your thoughts, which then affect your brain. So he did some research and found a few things, and I wanted to read to you guys the summary of his findings. His name is Alex Korb, by the way. So this is how crazy the brain is affected by our emotions, which are a stem of our thoughts. So it's pretty interesting. I'm going to read it from my laptop. This is kind of the summary of what he found. He said everything is interconnected. Gratitude improves your sleep. Sleep reduces your pain. Reducing your pain improves your mood. Improved mood reduces your anxiety, which then improves your focus and planning. Your focus and planning helps with decision making. Decision making further reduces anxiety and improves enjoyment. Enjoyment gives you more to be grateful for, which keeps that loop of the upward spiral going. Enjoyment makes it more likely you'll exercise and be social, which in turn makes you happier. So everything stems, as you saw, from gratitude. Everything's interconnected, which ends up being the social aspect of happiness, and in turn reflects to your brain, which a neuroscientist said makes you happier. So it's pretty crazy how you can just create happiness from yourself from these simple little secrets. So that is it for this video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it, you got something from it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys all in a future video. Bye!